Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Hearthstone Rise of Shadows reveal season continues, and today we have 6 new cards to review. These are the cards that have been revealed today: the new Paladin Dragon Legendary Nozari, a new Priest, Resurrect Priest Legendary Catrina Muerte, there's an Unseen Saboteur neutral combo disruption, there's a Priest Death Rattle synergy card, there's a Paladin spell weird one, and there's a Hunter value card. So let's take a look at all of these in detail. First up, the new Paladin Legendary, and it's a Dragon Paladin. That's really going to be a thing in this expansion. Nozari, a 10 mana 4/12 dragon with a battle cry to restore both heroes to full health. Well, that's an interesting card. Because, okay, restoring your hero to full health, that's obviously great. Okay, let's say you're playing against an aggro deck. Do you survive until turn 10, so that you can then use Nozari to get your health up? You heal the aggro deck, doesn't matter. Your health is up, aggro deck will run out of steam, you win the game. Comes a little bit late, but maybe it's possible. Paladin after all has stuff like timeout available, so they can stall pretty well. But let's say it's not an aggro matchup, it's a mid-range matchup or control matchup or something, and restoring both heroes to full health is that useful to you. It really depends on what kind of win condition you're going for. If you're going for something like Shirvala the Tiger and Holy Wrath, which you could do, you could have a Dragon Paladin deck with that kind of combo finisher. Yeah, restoring the full health doesn't sound too bad. You're probably able to chip in that 5 so that you can then Holy Wrath your Shirvala later. Sounds reasonable. Also, it doesn't necessarily sound too bad if you're just going with the huge hand buff dragon team with the new card Dragon Speaker. Battlecry keep all dragons in your hand +3/+3, because then okay, both are 30, your opponent is also at 30, but if you have these huge dragons that hit face for 7 damage or 10 damage each, then does that really matter? Is Nozari a must-have dragon? Compare Nozari to something like Ysera. There are many positions where Ysera is simply better than restoring the hero to full health, but Nozari is definitely an interesting dragon, and it's not a bad dragon, because with all the stall tools that Paladin has, you can actually get to turn 10 in a position where you would like to heal up. Next up, Unseen Saboteur, a 6 mana 5/6 with a battle cry. Your opponent casts a random spell from their hand, targets chosen randomly. So if everyone, me included, thought that Hecklebot was the new Dirty Rat that had been referred to, then actually everyone was probably somewhat wrong, because it seems that Unseen Saboteur is the new Dirty Rat. Dirty Rat pulled a random minion from the opponent's hand, Unseen Saboteur pulls a random spell from the opponent's hand. It's an interesting combo disruption tool, because let's say you're disrupting something like a Megatoon combo. Playing against Megatoon Warrior, they have the spells, and you force them to cast like Whirlwind or Inner Rage, and their combo is gone. Then again, if you're playing against something like the Shirvala OTK Paladin, you play this and it doesn't necessarily hit the Holy Wrath, so the combo might not be gone. In a specific combo metas where this is able to disrupt those combos fairly reliably, it can be completely overpowered and just destroy those combo decks. Whereas in many other metas, like facing Malygos combos or Shirvala combos, destroying a single spell doesn't necessarily spell the end of that combo. So it seems a fairly fair card, to be honest. It's not Dirty Rat level oppressive, but if it's not that, then is it strong enough? Time will tell, really meta dependent. Priest is getting a new class minion, Shadowy Figure, a 2 mana 2/2 with a battle cry to transform into a 2/2 copy of a friendly Death Rattle minion. And I asked over Twitter from the developers about this, and they confirmed that yes, it works with any minion that has Death Rattle. So you can play your Undertaker and you can copy that with Shadowy Figure, and then you can have another Undertaker with those Death Rattles on the board. Or in Wild, if you have a minion that would have like Spike-Rit Steed on it, then yes, you could target that minion with Shadowy Figure. It's enough that the minion currently has Death Rattle, and then Shadowy Figure is able to make a copy of it. It does not have to be a native death rattle card. Shadow Figure is interesting because it costs so little, just 2 mana. That's way less than Faceless Manipulator, it's even 1 less than Mirage Caller. So that means the Shadow Figure is actually able to make copies of stuff like the Undertaker, so it's still a little bit hard to envision what the complete deck would look like, where this could see play. But definitely if you can put together a priest deck that is very reliant, uses a lot of death rattles, and this costs so little and allows you to make a copy of a death rattle minion, powerful death rattle minion, then yeah, this card would be included in a death rattle priest if you can build one. We also have a new Paladin spell, Duel. A 5-mana spell, summon a minion from each player's deck they fight. This has also been clarified over Twitter, and it means that the minions will fight against each other once. So let's say you have a 2/3 minion and the opponent pulls a 2/3 minion and they clash. That means that both of them will survive that as 2/1 minions. So can you build some kind of big Paladin with this? Can this be a useful card in that Dragon Paladin with the big dragons? Could it be useful with some death rattle minions like Mechanical Whelps? Could it be useful with some Divine Shield minions like Tyrion? Obviously a lot of people are also thinking whether this could be a combo disruption tool, but because it pulls a minion from the deck, and there are lots of cards in the deck and you're very unlikely to pull the combo card, or lots of cards have already been drawn and the opponent's more likely to have already drawn that combo card, so it's not really a good combo disruption tool. It's more like a big Paladin tool. It's just difficult to see what that big Paladin deck overall would look like at the moment. But it's a tool for cheating out stuff earlier than they should be available. And that's always an interesting effect. Then we have a new Hunter card, Marked Shot. 4 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion, discover a spell. It's not really a card that goes into the current builds like Midrange Hunter, not very well at all. Rather you would put in something like a Wing Blast, deal 4 damage to a minion, if a minion died this turn this costs 1. That's just so much more tempo, so much better in that sense. But we're getting this kind of a theme now where Hunter is not getting card draw, but Hunter is getting cards that give you more cards. Marked Shot, damage to a minion, discover a spell, Unleash the Beast, summon the Virulent Rush, Twin spell. So if we have enough of these types of cards, then we might have tools to build some kind of a slowish mid-range Hunter build with Zul'jin at the top. Because that would mean then that when you play Zul'jin you're also generating tons of resources to your hand. And this team seems to be advancing quite nicely. We have to wait and see the full set, but that's the kind of team where Marked Shot and Unleash the Beast could go into. Finally, a new Priest Legendary, and it's another Resurrect big Priest Legendary. Yeah, that's surprising, to say the least. Catrina Muerte, an 8 mana 6/8. At the end of your turn, summon a friendly minion that died this game. So this is again a card that is actively against summoning Velens and throwing Mind Blast to the face, because the effect happens at the end of the turn. But it's also a huge value card because this has to be killed. The effect will happen at the end of every turn. And also if you can somehow first kill off one of these and have more of them, it can resummon itself. And that's where mind is getting blown. You could like play Catrina Muerte and you can Seance it. Make a copy into your hand. Opponent kills the first Catrina, you play the second Catrina and it might summon the first one. Priest is now getting a lot of this big priest style resurrection support. Catrina Muerte, Mass Resurrection. All the old resurrect effects that were based on cheating minions out early are gone. And now we have these late game resurrect effects that promise to deliver a ton of value. But the real question is, how do you survive long enough to be able to use this, and where do the minions come from? How do you first get minions out there that you then will want to resurrect? One card that I'm really thinking about here is the Amani Warbear, by the way. Goes in nicely, curves into Catrina. There might be something into making this sort of a bigger priest. And this might also give some context to Geppetto Joybas, a neutral legendary from this set, revealed recently. Didn't really seem to have much that it can do. But draw 2 minions from your deck, set their attack, health and cost to 1, combined with a bunch of resurrect effects. Okay, then we start talking. You can play those 1/1s for 1 mana, you can have them die. They can be big stuff, and then you can resurrect them. But still, Geppetto only comes out on turn 8, so it's not really an early game card. Because all these big priests and this, they have been focused on cheating stuff out. They cheat stuff out with Barnes or Shadow Essence. Just getting that stuff out several turns before it's supposed to come out, even if it comes out in a weaker form. And that doesn't seem possible right now, so what is the toolkit that would allow priests to survive and then start extracting this immense value? Right now I can't yet see that. Those were today's reveals, a very interesting bunch of cards. Lots of cards that have potential to shine, but they either require a very specific metagame, or they require very specific archetypes to be viable and to have enough cards to be buildable. And none of these are obviously just usable right now, right away. But perhaps our questions will be answered in the near future, and I will be reviewing more cards again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.